Hello friends, Bones here with another Halloween related review for you. But instead of a movie or a TV show, we're going to look at some videos that are frequently made just for our holiday. Halloween safety videos! Over the many decades, a lot of these videos have been made. Some for the whole country, and others more local. What I've done is I've picked out 10 safety videos for us to look at. See what works and what comes off as just more human stupidity. So let's start back in the 1970s with this 11-minute long 1977 safety video simply titled Halloween Safety. This one starts with ominous old-timey music over some trick-or-treaters.
Her costume is very, very dangerous. Can you see the things that make it dangerous?
Well, now that you've called attention to it, it does look unintentionally hideous. Actually, the narrator says that the costume is a hazard because it's dark and it's easy to trip on with a mask the little girl can barely see out of. This is shown through the POV shot of the girl falling onto oncoming traffic. 20 points!
Whoops! Down she goes again. It seems as if she's collecting more bumps and bruises than candy tonight. Let's see if we can help her, shall we? And by helping her, maybe...
Alright, so this is one of those problem-solution videos. The problem is her costume. So, what are the solutions? Okay, shortening the costume does make sense, but it's easier to avoid this if you have your kid try on the costume first to make sure it's just the right size. Next, they say to shorten the broom because it's a tripping hazard. Again, that should be addressed before purchasing, but sure. Shortening it is still good. But then they say the costume is too dark. Well, sure, but a lot of Halloween costumes are dark. The girl should be sticking to the sidewalks and actual crosswalks anyway. Plus, in the 70s, we had those McDonald's trick-or-treat safety cups that reflected light. She could wear those, have a parent with her, use common sense. But let's see what their solution is.
What about this color?
Say what?
A good way to make any costume easier to see at night is to decorate it with reflective tape or reflective patches.
I may be cynical, but now her costume looks scary for a really bad reason. Tell me I'm not the only one who sees that.
Whether you buy a costume or design your own, be sure that it's made of flame-retardant material. Material that won't catch on fire easily.
Why, for burning crosses, you subliminal fucks? The rest of the video is pretty standard stuff. Carry a flashlight, travel the groove, have a parent with you, don't go into a stranger's house, check your candy, pretty common sense things. Then surprisingly, they cover the trick-or-treat part of trick-or-treating. From the 90s onward, kids would usually just say trick-or-treat, get candy, and leave. Or they would go right to egging a house if that's what they were really there for. But apparently in the 70s, it was customary for little Gen Xers to play tricks for treats by telling corny Halloween jokes.
What's your trick?
What you guys eat for breakfast?
What?
Those toasties. What's a wiener when you take out its inside?
What?
A Halloweener. Where does Dracula keep his money?
Where?
In a blood bank.
Here, have some candy.
This video does feel very dated for various reasons, but it's kind of fun to watch for the almost vintage feel of it. Now let's jump ahead to this video made in 2011 by the City Police of Carlsbad. This one is much shorter and to the point, with the safety tips running at just over 2 minutes.
First, choose flame-resistant, comfortable costumes and shoes.
Okay, there it is again. As I watched these videos, I quickly realized that the whole flame-resistant costumes tip was a reoccurring thing in a lot of them. Am I missing something, or is it common for kids to be near open flames on Halloween? Imagine if that was a plot point in Great Pumpkin. The rest of the video is common things with the addition of having glow sticks around you for visibility. A much better alternative to slapping glow tape all over yourself. There is not much else to say about this one. Here's one by Autism Behavior Services Inc. This video uses more pop-up text and sound effects around a narrator and her teleprompter.
Or your favorite Star Wars or Marvel character, safety should always be on your mind.
Wait a minute. Why does that witch laugh sound familiar?
Safety should always be on your mind.
Apparently the editor of this video is a big Banjo-Kazooie fan. Hey Joseph, did you happen to edit a Halloween safety video?
No, why?
No reason. The grunty laugh is just the tip of the iceberg though. This video is a barrage of pop-up animations and sound effects. Check this out.
Don't eat it. Tip number 4.
Why is scares a tip?
On Halloween, sometimes neighbors can have scary music or decorations in front of their homes.
Some of us call those people heroes.
If you are scared or you think that somebody in your trick-or-treat group might not be comfortable, skip that house and move on to the next. A bad Halloween scare can ruin a fun night for anyone.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold the phone! Those are the best houses to go to! A great scare makes Halloween more fun! Come on, let's not raise a generation of scaredy cats! But speaking of cats, let's move on to this video from 1985 that stars everyone's favorite Orange Monday hater, Garfield. Here's exactly what it sounds like. A minute-long video where Garfield tells the audience tips for a safe Halloween in his typical dry tone.
First, go trick-or-treating while it's still light.
Oh please, even 5-year-olds trick-or-treat after dark. Joseph did. And all these parents and safety people are trying to say to have your kids trick-or-treat in broad daylight? Lame! Otherwise, it's a short and sweet Halloween PSA with a famous cartoon character to help kids process all the tips. Now let's see what the police of New Albany, Ohio have prepared for us. Next. Okay, this one is a Power Rangers PSA that was apparently sponsored by Spirit Halloween themselves. This is specifically Power Rangers Dino Charge since this came out in 2015. We've got a small group of kids running through a dinosaur museum to find tips on how to have a safe Halloween. More phenomenal! Okay, it is pretty cheesy with the overacting and the whoosh sound effects, but I have to admit that the format is good with how original it is. It was obviously aimed at kids, and it has pretty decent tips, so it does its job well. Next, let's journey up north to the land of hockey and 90s children's horror shows. This time Canada is providing us with a 1-minute animated PSA from CBC News.
There are 2 key words you'll want to find on the label. Flame resistant. That goes for wigs and beards too.
What did I tell you? There's the flame resistant tip again. This whole PSA feels very Looney Tunes with the slapstick humor and sound effects.
Instead of masks for better visibility, some ingredients can be harmful or carry bacteria. Bring a flashlight, wear LEDs, or add reflective tape to see and be seen.
Are they that worried about losing the audience's attention during this minute? But to the video's credit, it does offer some solid tips that most PSAs don't, like zigzagging across the street. Take that one seriously, kids. You've got a lot of houses to hit, so why waste time crossing the street a dozen times when you could cross the street just once? Some of the animations did crack me up, though. Look at that creepy finger from the stranger asking the girl to come inside. This is probably one of the better PSAs out there. It's short, it's to the point, and entertaining, even with how over the top it is. This video I actually found very last minute while I was finalizing this review. I was going to ignore it, but after watching it, it was just too stupid for me not to cover it. This is a Halloween safety video produced by the West Des Moines Police Department, where the cops are the actors, because everyone knows that cops are the best actors. Oh boy. First of all, each character, I guess you would call them, gets introduced with this profile screen of sorts. Just look at these names. Demaco-Lantern, Popo-Geist, Ophosaurus Rex, Baby... Oh Jesus, what is that?! And a character with the dumbest name of all, Greg. What kind of stupid name is Greg?
West Des Moines Police presents Halloween Safety.
What's with the overdramatic bad imitation of the voiceover from action movie trailers?
Remember to look both ways before crossing the street and wear reflective items. Oh, the horror.
Oh shit! That pumpkin just got murdered! That's why we have the dramatic narrator. It was you, Greg, wasn't it? Nah, it must have been the baby. What the? You know, there are a lot of things I could have lived my whole life without ever seeing and be perfectly content. A cop in an adult diaper is one of them. A lot of this video are these cops acting like exaggerated versions of stupid kids doing stupid things on Halloween, but they don't do a good job of hiding that they're cops. They even roll up in their squad cars to TP Greg's fire truck. You kinda start to feel bad for Greg after a few scenes because the cops just constantly dump on him, TPing his truck, egging his house, even taking his candy. Come on, officers, don't be bitter just because people like firefighters more than they like you. Well, this video does get the safety tips across, but at what cost?
Oh, my pretty truck.
Alright, we're almost done here, so let's see what safety tips people were giving out during the height of the pandemic that canceled so many Halloween events. This video is from ABC News, and it's more of a report than a PSA.
As coronavirus cases surge across the country, some cities are banning parades and trick-or-treating.
No!
So how can you
37 states changing some of their Halloween plans, most canceling community events.
Stop!
The city's Halloween parade that usually draws some 50,000 people called off.
Please just give us tips for having some kind of Halloween fun!
Give me something good to eat.
Halloween scavenger hunts, and if you want to trick or treat, try the one-way version where you pick up wrapped goodie bags lined up at the end of a driveway or edge of a yard.
Okay, that's better. Now we're getting somewhere.
Social distancing, mask wearing.
I'm sorry, not to take away from the seriousness of what the doctor is saying, but is that a Fauci pillow on his couch? Dude, I understand he's the nerd that we've all been looking to for guidance on the pandemic, but I have to question why a grown man has a pillow of him. Well, besides that and the depressing parts of events being cancelled, this news segment actually does show some clips of people finding clever ways to trick-or-treat safely. Pre-wrapped bags of candy for kids to pick up, sliding candy down a tube, carving pumpkins outside far away from other people. It kind of restores faith in humanity a bit to see people being inventive enough to still have Halloween fun in spite of some stupid disease. Alright, to end this review, let's get away from all the depressing pandemic junk and go back to the 80s with this 14-minute safety video simply titled Halloween Safety. Released in 1985, Halloween Safety has this animated pumpkin narrating over live-action clips to illustrate the different safety tips. But before that, we can't get started without an obligatory 80s intro. Also, having the pumpkin animated is an interesting idea, but it also comes across weird since the lip movements often don't match what the pumpkin is saying. Let's see if the content is at least decent. Not like most Halloween safety videos from over 30 years ago, this one takes its time going over different aspects of Halloween besides trick-or-treating. For example, the first thing to cover is pumpkin carving. Some of the animation is sensible, like making sure an adult helps the kid carve a pumpkin because a lot of sharp objects are involved. But some of the commentary from the pumpkin maybe didn't play out as well as the filmmakers thought it would.
Getting my inside scooped out tickles me. It'd tickle you too.
Wait, run that by me one more time?
Getting my inside scooped out tickles me. It'd tickle you too.
You're so ticklish, man! This is ticklish, right? We're all having Halloween fun!
But it's best to stay away from lighted candles that are inside or outside of jack-o'-lanterns. You know why.
I know. Get a flame retardant costume. Speaking of costumes, the video next goes into tips on wearing a practical costume.
That robot is Jeremy in his costume.
Did he say robot?
Jeremy can't see very well with his robot head on.
I didn't know Zoidberg was doing voice acting in the 80s. The rest of this segment is pretty much what you'd expect, with the kids adjusting their costumes to be safer. But this is already better than the first PSA we watched that turned a witch into a Klansman. This video also has something else about it that makes it stand out from the other videos we've watched. Unlike most Halloween safety videos, this one actually covers Halloween mischief makers. You know, graffiti, throwing eggs, smashing pumpkins. Uh-oh.
Oh no, that's not fun. Not for all the people who work so hard carving pumpkins. And especially not for us pumpkins.
That kid is lucky Sam wasn't around. Even with the parts of this video that are kind of off, it's still a pretty good safety video with some sound advice for kids, and I applaud it for covering a real topic that most PSAs for some reason tend to shy away from. Well, that's all I got for Halloween safety videos. A lot of cheesy stuff, but some solid tips were found in these videos too. Honestly, a lot of Halloween safety advice is pretty common sense. But just to make sure, let me give you my safety tips for Halloween. Number 1, wear a costume. Even if it's not supposed to be a scary costume, make it practical and not something that resembles a white supremacist. Number 2, hand out treats. It's a Halloween tradition. Number 3, do not blow out your jack-o'-lantern before sunrise. Remember, this is a time when spirits roam free. Number 4, trick-or-treat with a group and never go inside a stranger's house. Number 5, carve your jack-o'-lantern with an adult. If you are the adult, don't be an idiot. Number 6, always check your candy. Goodbye, friends! Live Halloween!